Good morning. Welcome in. MetroNews Talkline from the Kanawha Insurance Studios. We've hit the final week of the 60-day legislative session, plus a special second hour of MetroNews Talklines coming up. We'll tell you all about it. We're underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded.
We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set lineup link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Kanawha Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Kanawha.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome inside the Kanawha Insurance Studios. Dave Wilson of Morgantown. TJ Meadows is in Charleston. Kyle Wiggs is handling the audio side of things. If you are listening in on one of our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia. And Jake Link is at Master Control for the MetroNews TV app, the YouTube and Facebook live feeds. Coming up later, Brad McElhinny will join us, tell us what's happening under the Capitol Dome this morning. He's keeping an eye on the Senate Education Committee today, where the school aid formula changes are being taken up for discussion. We'll talk to Brad. Also, pushback on the state's food dye ban. We'll get the side from the American Beverage Association. Food safety expert Dr. Lyle Burgoon will join us coming up a little bit later on this hour. Special second hour of the show. We're going to focus in on the conflict in Iran. Hoppy will take over in the host chair in the second hour and walk you through some of the impacts and ramifications of that conflict, that ongoing military conflict in Iran. So with all that, say good morning, TJ Meadows from the Radio Ranch in Charleston. Morning, sir.
Good morning. Secretary of State Marco Rubio making comments this morning to the media saying the U.S. will be safer after the Iran mission. That while China's foreign minister, Dave, says the war should have never happened. I wondered how long it would take China to get involved in this.
It's a good thing China has weighed in. I was really curious what the Chinese thought about the issue. We'll do a deep dive into Iran, again, coming up in the second hour of MetroNews Talkline. Hoppy Kercheval will host the special second hour. The state legislature is winding, I don't know if they're winding down, but we are in the final days of the 60-day legislative session. Saturday is the final day. Last week, the House and Senate concurred on a compromised budget for a Democratic perspective on that compromise and what still should be accomplished in the final week of the legislative session. Please welcome to the program, Kanawha County Delegate Kayla Young. Delegate, good morning. Kayla, good to talk to you again.
Good morning, folks. Happy last week of legislative session.
What's the feeling in the Capitol this morning with 1 week to go? Less than a week to go.
Yeah, I mean, at least in the House, it's kind of wild today. We've got very packed agendas in every single committee. Tons of supplementals in finance, lots of red meat in judiciary. GovOrg's busy. Energy's got the above ground storage tank on. We're still rolling, even though technically we could leave at any time because the budget's done.
What is the Democrat perspective on this compromise budget that passed both the Senate and the House last week?
Honestly, the budget's fine. We're glad to see the pay raises, glad to see some money for floods, but it's lackluster, quite frankly. School aid, like you mentioned, is up in Senate Finance, but the school aid formula to help out public schools doesn't take effect for 3 years. Meanwhile, we're funding the Hope Scholarship at about $300 million. So we're not impressed.
Can we get a supplemental to help with special education funding? What are you hearing there?
We could get a supplemental to help with special education funding, but I haven't heard anything on that. I do hope we'll see that because we're going to see more public schools close left and right if we don't do more to help them right now. And we did pretty much nothing for clean water. So I think there's a lot more to go.
What does this budget tell you about the priorities of the House, Senate, and the governor, for that matter?
I mean, it tells us the same thing we've been hearing for a few years, that they care about private education, not public education. They don't care enough about resiliency and ensuring that our water infrastructure is good to go. We're hearing potentially more tax cuts. We don't know. We don't know if we can afford it. So we're just kind of on the same path of not doing much for the people of West Virginia.
Kayla, the governor hopped on X. He hopped on Facebook on Friday evening, and this was his quote. West Virginians are still waiting for the legislature to deliver meaningful income tax relief to our citizens. Today is day 52 when he posted that of the 60-day session. Time is running out. Demand your delegate and senator pass income tax cuts now. I read that to mean he wouldn't be happy with a 5% win as a result of the revenue reductions. Is the governor barking up the wrong tree here with the legislature?
Yeah, I think he is. He's asked for a 5%. He said 5%, then he said 10%. He's back to 5%. I've been in the legislature for 6 years. I've never had a single constituent say, we need more income tax cuts. I've never even had anybody say they're feeling the income tax cuts that we've done in the past. We've done 27% in the last few years. No one seems to even notice. I think folks want their roads fixed. I think they want lower utility bills. I think they want their schools to stay open. I just don't think it's what the people of West Virginia want.
Delegate Kayla Young is joining us, Kanawha County delegate and one of the 9 Democrats in the House of Delegates. Democrats will hold a news conference later this afternoon at 1 o'clock to talk about the final week of the session. What will the message be, Kayla?
Yeah, I think we really want to talk about how we haven't done enough for utility bills. We haven't done enough for water. We want to talk about Rayleigh's Law and what's going on there. All weekend long, I've seen legislators really fighting for their lives, trying to explain their votes over the past few days over why they haven't prioritized issues like Rayleigh's Law and issues like Southern West Virginia Water Fund. So we want to set the record straight on those issues.
On the Southern West Virginia Water Fund, there has been a lot of debate on social media. Many lawmakers have said, look, we did not vote for discharge. That was a procedural motion. It's not that we're against clean water, but we weren't going to vote yes to proceed on a bill that had not been through the committee process. Would you take exception with that explanation?
Yeah, I do take exception with that explanation because any vote that we do is a vote that matters, procedural or not. If you didn't vote to bring a bill forward so we can have that discussion, you voted against it. I don't know how you can say you didn't.
For people who, had other things to do over the weekend, Kayla, explain what was trying to happen there in the House with the discharge vote. What was the goal? What was going on?
For sure. So this is the same conversation with the Water Fund and with Rayleigh's Law over in the Senate and in the House. Discharge motion is a procedural motion. When bills are introduced, they get sent to committee. This bill, for example, got sent to committee. It was heard in committee on one day. The next day is supposed to be the vote, or another day is supposed to be the vote. That never happened. It never got put up for passage to get sent to the floor or to the next committee. So we have in our rules where from the House floor, we can do a motion. It's called a discharge motion to discharge it from the committee onto the floor so the floor can take the bill up for consideration so it can get passed. Anybody can make that motion. We see them all the time. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. It would have gotten the bill to the floor so we could have had the discussion. With the Water Fund, the discharge motion passed. We got it passed to get to the floor so we could vote on it. Then there was a second motion to move it to third reading so we could pass the bill. That one requires 4/5 of members voting for it, and that motion failed. So the discharge one passed, but they voted against suspending the rules so we could vote on the bill. It seems crazy to suspend constitutional rules, but quite frankly, it happens all the time. So, and those motions pass all the time. So for them to say now that they're not doing it because it's unconstitutional, or whatever the excuse, I've seen a lot of excuses. The reality is if they wanted to, they would. They didn't want to vote on this bill to provide water in Southern West Virginia. We've all seen the videos and the pictures of the water bottles in West Virginia looking black and brown and just foul. And it's a big problem that they don't want to address.
Can we ever really fix the water problem in Southern West Virginia? And I'm not trying to I'm not trying to be critical of that effort. It's just in today's world, with the resources that we have as spread out as we are, without any kind of golden goose to keep the money coming in, is it realistic that we can ever truly fix those water problems?
I think it's worth trying, and I think it's a twofold problem. I think there are managerial problems within those water systems and public service districts where maybe they're not applying for all of the funds that are available, but I also think it's a finance issue. It's twofold. It's also a population issue. So it's not a simple problem to fix, but there are a lot of bipartisan legislators trying to fix it, to at least make it sure these people have access to water at all. I mean, imagine not having access to clean drinking water, period. That's just simply unacceptable in the richest country in the world. We can't have that. So whatever solution we need to do it because those people need water. At the same time, we've got bills running in energy in the House today to weaken water standards in West Virginia. So we're going backwards, not forwards.
Kanawha County Delegate Kayla Young joining us on MetroNews Talkline. Democrats will hold a news conference at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Saturday is the final day of the 2026 legislative session. That is both almost here and a long way away, Kayla.
Absolutely it is. And we've seen tomfoolery going on Friday. On Friday, there was another water bill that died in committee and then 10 minutes later was brought back and passed because it helps certain people in the building. This is where we start to see a lot of the shenanigans, and it can get really difficult for regular people to keep up because a lot of it is in the weeds stuff.
I do want to go back to this idea of shenanigans, or you talked about it's crazy to think that the rules would be suspended, but they are all the time, I believe is what you said. Would the legislature be better, in your opinion, if you could not suspend the constitutional rule for 3 different days, no matter the issue, or you could not discharge, so every bill has to go through the committee process? Would we be better off, would the legislature be better off if that were the way it was?
I guess it depends what side you're on. Sometimes we suspend the rules during special sessions because everybody's agreed to do something, whether it's an economic development project or whatever. So then we can only have 1 day of special session rather than 3. That saves the people money. So sometimes it's okay. I mean, these rules were written 200 years ago. So sometimes they're just not as up to speed. But at the same time, if every bill had to go through the committee process, it would give those chairmen more power than they already have. It's pretty much up to one person whether a bill runs in a committee or not, right? It's give and take. I think that's not necessarily one's better than the other. I do think it'd be better if we only had session every other year.
Oh, don't get him started.
It seems like a lot of stuff. You never know.
We could do a whole nother hour on that question alone. By the way, nice work in getting tomfoolery and shenanigans in the same segment. Well done.
It's not hard.
Kanawha County Delegate Kayla Young, Democrats holding a news conference at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Kayla, thank you so much, and we'll see you back at the Capitol later this week.
See ya.
Coming up, Governor Morrisey took to X over the weekend to continue his push for a 10%, or at least we think that's what he was implying, a 10% cut to the personal income tax. We'll discuss that next.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Since 1926, the West Virginia Hospital Association has been the collective voice of our state's hospitals. With a shared vision of strengthening communities, improving lives, and supporting our state's economic well-being, our member hospitals work every day to provide high-quality, accessible care. This year, we celebrate 100 years of a unified voice and our ongoing commitment to supporting our members in achieving a strong, healthy West Virginia.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at wvha.org.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
At the Health Plan, we are here for you, and we have been one of the most trusted carriers for over 40 years. Headquartered right here in West Virginia, providing exceptional health coverage and local customer service.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, The High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
New year, new trucks. Start your year off with a new truck from Kanawha Toyota World. Now lease a 2025 Tacoma for as low as $299 a month. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. It's your last chance to get a gas model 2025 RAV4. Don't miss out. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Kanawha Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
Hardwood Heat meets the Mountain State in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Girls High School Basketball State Championships, presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 14th. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Special second hour of MetroNews Talkline coming up this morning. Hoppy will take the reins. He will do a deep dive into the military operations ongoing in Iran this morning. He has a full slate of guests prepared. That's coming up in the second hour of MetroNews Talkline later this morning. Last week, on Friday, I guess that technically counts as the weekend, Governor Morrissey took to X and posted, quotes, West Virginians are still waiting for the legislature to deliver meaningful income tax relief to citizens. Today is day 52 of the 60-day session. Time is running out. Demand your delegate and senator pass income tax cuts now. Then yesterday on X, the governor posted, over the next week, the legislature has an opportunity to achieve some incredible things, passing income tax cuts to supplement our Trump tax cut laws, improving our state's education system, promoting a stronger state energy policy, advancing rural health care outcomes, and much more. And we can do that without burdensome rules that harm small businesses or grow the size of government. I'm looking forward to making this session a truly productive one. Let's do it. Mr. Meadows, now's the part where we overanalyze those two posts. What do you make of those?
So I looked at it on Friday, and my first thought was, take the win, man. Take the win. They're going to give you 5%. He did that with his revenue estimates. He lowered the revenue estimates accordingly to generate a 5% tax cut and then had the bill running that gave 5%. That bill sits on Vernon Chris's desk in finance. The governor has to know they are not going to sign that. They are not going to run it until they get the budget back and they look at any vetoes he may make, which they have the ability to override easily with the Republican majorities that they have in the House. Then he'll get his tax cut. But I read that to say 5% isn't enough. It's not meaningful. He wants to bargain for more. I don't think he has the bargaining power. I would take the win, David, and I would move on.
I agree with you. Take the win. Go out over the next, whatever it is, 6 months over the election cycle. Campaign that you not only reduced the income tax, but thanks to the Trump tax cuts, you were able to cut West Virginians' taxes. What was the number we talked about? $225 million.
Mm-hmm.
Take the win. But here's the thing here's also, and Delegate Young hit on this, that, CJ, when you are out talking to people and politics comes up, how much clamoring is there around the state for an additional 10% to the personal income tax? Now, I would welcome it. I'm not going to reject it. I'm not going to turn it down if they cut it. But usually the conversation turns to potholes, schools, water and sewer, infrastructure projects, the fundamentals that the governor talks about all the time that need to be strong to advance economic development. So if that's what people are talking about the majority of the time, if that's what's really at the front of mind, should you be addressing those rather than trying to pass a 10% income tax? Look, you grow the economy, the income tax will take care of itself.
Yeah, especially when you have those triggers, and you show growth and you automatically get the cut. And that anecdotally from the people I talk to, it doesn't matter what socioeconomic or what range you are on the pay scale, whether you're a median size earner, a very large earner that has a huge W-2, W-4. Everybody wants the potholes fixed. I cannot personally drive down a stretch of Taze Valley Road in one of the largest counties in West Virginia that is growing, by the way, without having to come to a complete stop because it's either going to the other lane and dodge the pothole, which could be hitting another car, or taking the front end of my car out. Fix the roads.
I-79 southbound, by the way, Goshen Road. And here's something else, and this, I don't want to go down into the rabbit hole, but this is the genius of having income taxes withdrawn from your paycheck before you get to the bottom line. How often do we think about our income taxes? About once a year, right?
Yeah.
And usually that is in terms of how much money am I getting back? Usually. No, there are oddballs like you who probably think about it every other day.
I'm not giving the government an interest-free loan.
I got you, man. But that's how most people think about it. How often are you thinking about potholes? Or how often are you thinking about your local school? Or, you got to go from Kingwood to Morgantown to go to the doctor. Or if you've got to drive up from Grafton to Morgan, whatever the case may be. Those are everyday issues that are on your mind constantly, that are reinforced constantly. I get where the governor's coming from. Again, you want to give me 10% more? I'll take it. I'm not going to turn it down. I just don't know that's the pressing issue that deserves this much. When you're going to get 5, he's going to get 5%.
He's going to get 5. And here's the thing. I think he believes that by asking for more and not getting it, it will set up campaign metrics that he'll be able to somehow campaign on in the midterms to say, give me better legislators. Here's the problem. The legislators who are there are going to give people better roads and talk about schools and things that they want. I've broken 2 rims and 3 tires busted in the last 4 years. And there's so many people who are like me. Fix the roads, take the win, move on. I think the legislature gave him just enough rope, knowing he may use it.
Ooh, I think I got to chew on that one for just a minute.
Chew on it, brother, but I think I can make a case.
Well, look, there is certainly politics afoot here. I would take the win. Everybody comes out looking stronger and better. If you take the win, you've worked together, you've reduced the income tax, you're addressing these things, you've funded Hope Scholarship. You may end up changing the school aid formula 3 years down the road. But hey, you could take a couple of big wins here if you want to take them.
As Billy Bean said, when someone gives you first base and they're walking, you take it. Say thank you.
A walk's as good as a hit, as they used to say. Not anymore, though. You got to get the home run, remember? Cyber Matrix or something.
Yeah.
Brad McElhinny, we'll see if he's good. Let me see. Did Brad just let me give you an update. All good. Brad will be on here in a couple of minutes. We'll get an update what's going on at the state capitol. This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It's 10:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening across the great state of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. Governor Patrick Morrisey taken to X a couple of times over the weekend, urging state lawmakers to come through with an income tax cut in this final week of the 60-day legislative session. Morrisey posting last night, quote, over the next week, the West Virginia legislature has an opportunity to achieve some incredible things. Passing income tax cuts to supplement our Trump tax cut laws, improving our state's education system, promoting a stronger state energy policy, advancing rural health care outcomes, and much more. The governor saying that. The state Senate passed a 10% tax cut, but the House won't do that. The state budget accounts for a possible 5% cut, but the House is yet to take up a tax cut bill. Education West Virginia co-president Del Lee says he believes lawmakers can find the money to help county school districts with mounting costs for special education instruction.
It's all about priorities, and you can find money if it's a priority, and this really should be a priority for the legislature to address the needs of our counties with special needs students.
The Senate Education Committee is talking about that bill this morning. Huntington City Council members with a lot to think about after Mayor Patrick Farrell presented his proposed budget in a Saturday work session. Some council members asked Farrell to list his priorities for funding. He talked about an ongoing effort when it comes to the city's homeless population.
The work on homelessness is not done, right? And the work at the hub's not done. So we're kind of still at phase one, overnight shelter.
Huntington City Council will vote on a budget at a later date. You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Come on, Liam, let's go. Get open. Come on, go for it. Wake up. Wake up, Liam. Oh, come on, use your head. Gotta want it. Dominate.
There he goes again. Liam's dad yelling from the stands, trying to relive his glory days.
I know. We're just trying to have fun out here and play with our friends. Like, it's not that deep.
He seriously needs to get a grip.
Does he really think he's helping Liam play better?
I feel bad for Liam. I know he's embarrassed his dad ruins every game like this. I mean, I would be too.
Someone needs to tell him this isn't about him.
Yeah, stop trying to coach from the stands and just cheer.
That's what Liam wants.
That's what we all want.
Be your student's biggest fan, not their biggest critic. This message presented by the WVSSAC and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
The WVU women's basketball team has until next Sunday before learning where it will play in the NCAA tournament. It could be a home regional after the Mountaineers defeated TCU for the Big 12 tournament championship on Sunday. The WVU men are set to leave for Kansas City now. They'll play the winner of Tuesday night's BYU-Kansas State game Wednesday night. The Mountaineers split with Kansas State during the season and beat BYU at home. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
MetroNews Talkline continues. When you choose CityNet, you are choosing a 100% West Virginia-owned internet provider with local support, no call centers, no runaround, just fast, dependable fiber internet backed by people who live and work right here. Plus, new residential customers get 50% off any internet plan for a year. Visit citynet.net today. Brad McElhinny is our MetroNews statewide correspondent. He is holed up in the belly of the beast this week for the final week of the 60-day legislative session. His report presented by AARP, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State. Brad, this morning, the Senate first of all, good morning. The Senate Education Committee was meeting and taking up a bill that would alter the school aid formula that passed out of the House. It would kick in 3 years. Brad, what happened?
Hey, so, the schools are having a hard time now, and there are schools almost on a monthly basis that are closing or consolidating around West Virginia. Part of their expense is special education needs, and those kids to receive their constitutionally guaranteed education, it can be more expensive. Some of them need one-on-one learning, some of them need special nurses, and that is a financial expense that the counties are bearing. So this school funding bill that was passed out of the House that's now in the Senate addresses several aspects of school funding in West Virginia. The first part would establish block grants for the counties in 3 years. Doesn't kick in until 3 years from now. The second part does deal with special education needs, and it's got 3 different tiers. At this point, that also kicks in 3 years. There was an amendment considered in the Senate Education Committee to move that up, but not to next year, to the year after that. So it would provide some relief for special education expenses here in a year or so. Again, not the coming fiscal year, but the year after that. At this point, Senator Joey Garcia, a Democrat from Marion County, said, look, this expense is something that is occurring with counties right now, and they need the relief right now. So he tried to offer an amendment to bump it up to active with the coming fiscal year. His amendment proposal was narrowly voted down. I think it was a 6-5 vote to vote it down. Finally, the bill passed. That is the House bill as it came over, but bumping up some special education relief by a couple of years. It's now assigned to the Senate Finance Committee. And, any committee can make continued changes, but it's possible, again, that the Senate Finance Committee will do its own changes to this bill.
So, broad strokes, we bumped it up a year. Broad strokes, we bumped it up a year.
2 years.
2 years.
I think 2 years.
2 years. Okay, so but it would be next year that it would hit, right?
And only the special education part. The block grants to counties remain 3 years out from now. And the intention for that was so that they can get ready. I think the story behind the scenes on why counties need relief right now for special education, but this bill contemplates not the coming fiscal year, but the year after that, is because the budget is already in the hands of the governor. That's one of the trade-offs for getting it out the door early and giving it to the governor Friday of last week. Is that, any change you might make for money for the coming fiscal year, that train has left the station. It's in the governor's hands. And, unless there is some other factor coming up, something that I am unable to predict.
Is that just political cover? Is that just political cover, Brad, given that they've had all session to contemplate it? It came out very early that counties were struggling with this. I mean, every legislator got, I think, a detailed breakdown for their specific counties that they represent about that delta and lack of funding. And we still didn't get it in before it went to the governor. So is that just political cover that you're trying, not you're trying, but that legislators may try to take to smooth the issue that it didn't happen?
I think for the Senate Education Chairwoman, Amy Nicole Grady, it's sincere. I mean, she's one of 24 senators, 34 senators, but there's only so much she can do. She said all year long, I would like additional money to provide financial relief for the school systems. But I think, there's only so much you can do. And I think it's more of it's a combined political and budgeting reality. The budget represents your priorities, and the governor's introduced budget had priorities of at least a 5% tax cut, of increased dollars for the Hope Scholarship Program for families choosing education outside the public school system. Medicaid is it is what it is. You got to pay for it. You got to pay the state's share. And there's only so much you can fit under the roof of the budget as contemplated. And more money for local school systems didn't fit under the roof.
MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny is joining us. Brad, what are you watching the rest of the day today?
The E-Verify Safe Harbor Act, which caught me by surprise as a knockdown blowout fight in the House of Delegates. To Toby and Edith, that is a bill that would have businesses report on who their employees are, and it's meant to watch and make sure that they are not employing unverified residents of this country, unlawful citizens. And the pushback on it is that if you are a small business barely making ends meet, this is the kind of financial and use of your time that perhaps you cannot afford for something that may or may not be a problem. When it was a knockdown blowout fight in the House of Delegates that I had not realized was coming, I said to everyone, maybe we can watch that when it comes to the Senate. And today is the day. It's coming to the Senate Judiciary Committee at 3 p.m.
I want to circle back for a second. I just can't help myself, Dave, so you can slap me on the wrist later if I get out of hand here. And I'll pose the question to you. Brad, you can comment if you want, or Dave, you can just leave it alone and it can be rhetorical. Multiple things can be true in politics, as we know. There are several school systems. I mean, guys, you look at the data, they're on the bubble. I mean, they are very, very much in jeopardy of just can't do it. It's done. If you hold funding off for a bit, does it make it easier later for those counties, those boards who face politics of their own to accept the economic reality, whether that's consolidation, whether that's merger of county, and the economics take care of the problem more so than the politics do? And it's a way to shift the burden so that they have to react. I may be too Machiavellian in my thinking there, Dave, but does that hold water?
So that the counties have to react?
Yeah, well, I mean, the counties are going to have to, if they can't make it, because some of these counties have large surpluses. I've seen the numbers. They can go for a couple of years, frankly, and eat that delta that they can't pay for in special ed. Other counties have zip. And if you're trying to move the issue on economics and force movement because you just can't make the numbers work, that's sometimes easier than getting it done politically on the front end before you have a happening that forces your hand. So is there any thinking here on some of these counties that are up against it that do need to face consolidation of counties or consolidation of schools, that there's a way to make the economics work this out more so than the politics?
I don't know. What I see is counties month by month going to the state board and saying, you know, we need your final approval to consolidate or close our schools. And I mean, certainly some counties are not making the hard decisions. That's what got Hancock County in trouble.
Yeah.
But, you know, others are saying, we got to do it.
I think the budget's done this year. I think, look, I just think it's timing. I really do. Maybe I'm being naive, but like you said, the state budget is done. It's with the governor. The RIF process, remember, schools have to work a year out. The RIF process for next year is underway now. So to get ready, I mean, you've got to move it. Maybe I'm being naive. I'm buying the explanation that the timing of making a major overhaul to the school aid formula, you got to give these counties time to prepare, to work the budget in, to have an idea of what they're going to be able to work with, because the RIF process will start this time next year for, you know, the following school year after that.
And I fully admit,
everything's a year behind.
Yeah, maybe I should be more trusting in my analysis, be more generous. So
you know
I admit
what?
the same.
Maybe it's somewhere in the middle, as things often are, in between your Machiavellian thinking and my naive trust. Probably the truth lies somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
Where Brad McElhinny resides on most days, in Truthville. Brad, I don't know. There's an awkward transition to get to the out and say you're presented by AARP, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State. Have a wonderful day, Brad. We'll see you at the Capitol tomorrow.
Oh, thanks. See you tomorrow.
Everybody. I had no good transition there, TJ. I tried.
I think you did well. Well, I gave you a tough question. I gave him a tough question. And I don't mean to put anybody on the spot, but I just can't help but wonder if there are multiple things going on here that would force some very tough politics to the economic rationale, which tends to be very black and white, as opposed to politics, which is gray.
What you're saying makes sense. It makes sense. And truthfully, it's probably somewhere in between there.
Yeah.
Some may be thinking exactly like you, and some may be like me. Like, yeah, sure. It's going to take some time. All right, West Virginia's food dye ban. Remember that? It was passed last year. Well, the American Beverage Association is pushing back on that. We'll talk to food safety expert Dr. Lyle Burgoon. He'll join us next.
West Virginia natural gas keeps energy affordable and our state competitive for growth. Producing and using more of our reliable, homegrown energy helps stabilize prices for families and small businesses. Natural gas already supports more than 73,000 West Virginia jobs and generates billions for our economy. Investing in West Virginia natural gas means affordability, growth, and a stronger nation. Natural gas, affordable, reliable, American.
This message is brought to you by the Gas and Oil Association of West Virginia.
WVU Medicine Nephrology is committed to providing advanced kidney care at its primary location in Morgantown's Suncrest Town Center and also at outreach sites in Buchanan, Clarksburg, Elkins, Fairmont, Flatwoods, Grafton, Kaiser, Moorfield, and Summersville in West Virginia and Oakland, Maryland. Our expert team of nephrologists use the latest diagnosis and treatment methods. Call 855-WVU-CARE or visit wvumedicine.org/nephrology.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
At Glenville State University, we are pioneers. With over 45 undergraduate degree programs, 17 NCAA athletic teams, and countless campus organizations and activities, we're here to help you build your story while becoming a part of ours. Glenville State University, your dream, your future, your story. Visit glenville.edu today for more information.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. It makes you feel defeated. I'm just going to be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not going to be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
All the sports West Virginia is talking about.
Nikki Izzo-Brown, coach of the nationally ranked WVU women's soccer team.
I think they're just having a very good understanding of each other.
Join Kyle Wiggs, Brett Howe, and Coach Hunter weeknights for Sportsline on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronewstv.com.
On the next State of Minds. I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Powerball jackpot is $46 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $533 million, so go ahead. play today. You'll remember last legislative session, the state legislature passed a bill that banned certain food dyes. That was scheduled to take effect this year, but a lawsuit has halted the implementation of that bill. The American Beverage Association is pushing back on some of the misconceptions about those dyes. Joining us on MetroNews Talkline this morning is food safety expert Dr. Lyle Burgoon. Dr. Burgoon, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Ever since this is kind of born out of the MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again, but what are some of the biggest, most common misconceptions out there about these particular food dyes, yellow 5, red 40, that are prompting state legislatures to ban them?
Yeah, from a scientific standpoint, these are some of the, food additives that we've studied the longest. We know the most about them. Many of these were approved in the United States by the FDA back in the 60s. So we have a long history of use of these these food dyes. And one of the things that I always like to tell people is the synthetic food dyes that you just listed off are what we call certified dyes, which means the Food and Drug Administration actually certifies every single batch of those dyes to actually be what they're supposed to be. So when they get a batch of red 40, they test it to make sure that that is actually a batch of red 40 and it doesn't have any other kind of harmful contaminants in it. And we've studied, like I said, we've studied these food dyes for decades now. And what's happened is we have these really good studies, from the 50s and the 60s and into the 70s that have all shown that these dyes are safe. And now today, what we're starting to see is some very poorly done studies. And those are the studies that folks in the MAHA movement tend to point to say, aha, see, there's problems with these things. They're harmful to kids. They're causing hyperactivity. And that's just not the case. When you start breaking down these newer studies, you start identifying lots and lots of flaws with them. And so a lot of these studies are really what we call observational studies. So in science, an observational study is not an experiment. It's where they just go out and they just look at, okay, so what's happening with these individuals, and then I'm going to go pick out some controls who haven't taken this, and I'm going to compare what's happened like with hyperactivity, and that's not really an experiment, so you can't really assign cause and effect to it. It's just because you can cherry pick your controls. There's lots of issues with it, so we stand by the good old-fashioned randomized control trial types of studies, in experiments, and that's really where the good causative evidence is coming from.
Doc, the Europeans have banned many of these. They did so before us. Why are they wrong then, if I hear your thinking? Why are they wrong to ban these?
Oh, that's actually a misconception. I'm glad you raised that. The Europeans actually have approved more dyes than we have. One of the examples I love to give is amaranth. In Europe, it's called E123. And if you actually pull up the European law, which, a lot of people don't know, there's actually a law in Europe, and I have it up on my screen. I'm trying to find the actual number. It's Regulation 1333/2008. That is the law on food additives. And if you were to search for the word amaranth or E123, you're going to see that it is actually approved in Europe for use in mostly alcoholic beverages, but there's a few other places where you can use it too. Here in the United States, we have not approved E123. And to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure what happened with E123. I think it was approved at one point and it wasn't at another. Sometimes it's because companies actually stop using something and then they'll just say to the FDA, we're not using this anymore. And the FDA is like, if no one's using it, then we're just going to pull it back because there's no point having it, in the regulation. So there's actually a lot of dyes in Europe that we do not have approved here in the United States for various reasons. So that's a bit of a misconception.
Probably going to ask you a loaded question, but I'm only going to leave you about 30 seconds here. We're coming up against a hard break, Doctor. Yep. Why are these chemical food dyes, some of them are derived from petroleum, in our food in the first place?
This is great. So what's interesting is in the United States, we really like to have food that looks great. In Europe, that's not so much the case. I used to go to Europe all the time. In Europe, the food is a little bit less colored. But what's more interesting is most of the foods that we're talking about here are going to be sodas. They're going to be candies, confections, stuff like that. It's not stuff that you and I are going to put on our dinner plate. These are treats. They're sometimes foods. That's what we call them in nutrition. And so, what we know is that when you use a red light to take away all the color and you have people eat food, it doesn't taste so good. And then the minute you turn the lights back on, you turn off that red light and they can actually see the colors, the food tastes just so much better. And so it's kind of an interesting little psychological trick. And so, yeah, the colors do help with us, thinking that the food tastes better.
Dr. Lyle Burgoon, food safety expert. Again, West Virginia's law is currently being litigated and fought in court. Doctor, we appreciate the insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Back to wrap up hour number 1, telling you what's coming up in a special hour number 2. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Hospitals drive West Virginia's economy. They produce jobs and create opportunities while keeping our communities healthy. Employing nearly 54,000 people, West Virginia hospitals rank among our state's largest and most dependable employers. They provide more than $1 billion in community benefits and generate nearly $17 billion in total economic impact each year. Hospitals are investing where it counts, advancing health, ensuring access to care, and powering West Virginia's economic future.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at wvha.org.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
President Trump is right. America's electric grid needs to be fixed now.
When you have a grid system in this country that's obsolete and a disaster, it can't produce the electricity. It can't distribute the electricity.
For West Virginia, obsolete means power outages and lost opportunities. That's why more than 6,000 West Virginians signed a petition urging state leaders to support President Trump's call to fix our grid. Learn more at powerwvnow.org. Paid for by West Virginians for reliable and affordable energy.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at wvmetronewstv.com to get in the action.
Coming up, special hour number 2 of MetroNews Talkline. Today, we'll turn things over to Hoppy Kercheval. He's going to do a deep dive into the military operations in Iran. He's got a full slate of guests to provide context and insight. That is coming up in a special second hour of MetroNews Talkline today. As for TJ and me, we will return to the state capitol. We'll be there Tuesday through Friday this week. Up to day 59. Day 60, they're on their own. But we'll be there through day 59 this week. See you back at the Rotunda tomorrow, TJ, Hoppy, whoever you are.
Take care, buddy.
All right, bye. Hoppy's next. Special edition of Talkline next. Hoppy Kercheval, 5:55 a.m. How early did you get in that day, by the way?
Probably 3:30.
Probably 3:30.
How long did you do sign-on shift?
I signed on like 7 years.
Not all.
6 days a week for 7 years.
Lightweight.
I know. Couldn't do it now. Now when I wake up at 3:30 is to go to the bathroom. And go back to bed.
Welcome to the 2 o'clock hour, Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com on a Wednesday, and I apologize because Stephanie Pauly is our producer, one of the producers of the show, and normally she has everything. We have a thing we call the run sheet, you know, when we have who we're calling and what we're doing and so on. And so and Stephanie, I don't even know whether you know this, I did the run sheet today, and I put the wrong date on. I put 2025 on it. Because how many of us in modern day actually write the date out anymore? I mean, you did it when you were in school, you did it back when people wrote checks and whatever. This may have been the first day that I have written the date down, and I was responsible for putting together the sheet. And my co-host, the lovely and talented AB, starts the show by saying January 24th, 2025, because she read it directly off the sheet. And it is indeed the year of our Lord, 2026.
Oh, yeah, he did find something out. Something, you're related to Thomas Jefferson?
Well, I'm not related to Thomas Jefferson, but I am related to Samuel Kercheval, who was a historian.
I'm going to tell you something about Samuel Kercheval. Him and Jefferson out smoking corn silk. Kercheval told him, Thomas, I don't know about this country. Might want to start again.
He could.
So I don't have a monitor here, so I really can't see what happens at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. So at what point do I pop up? When the music starts and Mr. Announcer comes on?
Yeah.
So they see all the little panic things that I do that I'm still in the process of setting up?
Yes. They see you shuffle about uncomfortably. They see you blow the dust off your headphones. They see you put in like 2 cough drops at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I don't do 2 at the same time. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know that. I should probably. Now, these shows are archived, right? So I can go back and watch them.
Yes.
So I could like live this show in real time and then go home and, when I say something to Linda like, hey, did you hear when I did this? And I don't watch it. Well, let's get in front of the TV and watch me do it again for 3 straight hours.
Yes, it's archived just like the audio podcast.
Ah, that's right.
And see, this is the thing that gets the NCAA in trouble, when it goes to court here. Is there a clock or not? Greg, we talk about the clock all the time. Mm-hmm. If he began in 2019, the clock should have run out, whether he's played the 4 years or not. And that's part of the argument, because some guys go right through the clock, right? TJ Finley, we've mentioned many times on this show. 7th team coming up this year. He's playing for Incarnate Word. He's played 7 seasons at 7 different schools. Now, why hasn't his clock started? Why doesn't he have the 5-year clock? So if you're Aguilar, I get it.
He just bouncing him off the ropes. Somebody save this man. Oh, my Lord. Oh. Very nice, very nice. He hit him with everything he didn't want.
Yeah. 10 seconds remaining. Going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
Things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But, if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be, work out. You're going to be successful. And it may not be in the world's eyes, but God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things, and I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard, and if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning and welcome to a special edition of Talkline. Hoppy Kercheval sitting in for the second hour. And thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about the entire hour, the war with Iran. This morning, we'll dive into the policies and the politics of this war. How did we get here? Where are we now? What is the way forward? What does it all mean for the people of Iran, the stability of the Middle East, the security of the United States, American men and women in uniform, including West Virginians, gas prices, and more? We'll begin with the politics of this. Nobody better to do that than Chris Stirewalt, politics editor of NewsNation, host of The Hill Sunday. Chris, good morning. Good to talk to you again.
Heck yeah, brother. It's very exciting to be with you.
Thank you for coming in. Truth Social post by the president, where he said a short-term increase in gas prices is a small price to pay for world safety and peace. He said, quote unquote, only fools would think differently. Does that work for Americans? Does that convince Americans this is the right thing to do?
Well, people underestimate, I underestimate, and I say all the time, Americans won't pay a price for anything, right? They say they care about climate change. They won't pay for it. They won't pay to do the things. They say they want to balance the budget and pay down this crippling deficit or crippling debt, but they don't want to pay for it. And that's true, right? Getting Americans to sacrifice their own comfort, wealth, ease, all of those things for some other objective is very hard to do. But it's not impossible. Right? It's not impossible to get Americans to pay a price. We will do it. We have done it. The question here is, the president said the other day, talking to CNN, talking to Donna Bash at CNN, and he said, I'll get this a little bit wrong, but he said basically, we want to do a Venezuela. And doing a Venezuela is, we're going to take out this tyrant, and we will have another tyrannical regime in place, but it will quickly follow. It will not be that disruptive, and that will be a ruler that is amenable to American interests, right? The change in Venezuela isn't for the Venezuelans. It's for American interests. And if you're sick and tired of nation building and you're sick and tired of all of the things that led to the rise of Donald Trump, and by the way, the Graham Plattners of the world too, then you say, yeah, good. It's about time we got real. It's about time that we quit doing this other stuff. And you can see the appeal of it. The question in Iran is Iran Venezuela-able, right? Venezuela is about the size of Texas. Texas is big, but Texas is not as big as Iran. Iran is like 90 million people. It has a complicated ethnic and religious tones. It's in a very difficult neighborhood. And can you Venezuela Iran? I don't know. But if the promise to voters was, if the implied promise to voters was, we can swap out rulers in Iran for one that is easy for us to deal with, a client, basically. You haven't prepared people to pay any price and bear any burden to do it.
But the next guy up so far is just more of the same, the son of the previous Ayatollah, Mushta Khomeini, who's another hardline guy. So day 1 or day 8 or 9 or 10, it's not Venezuela.
Right. You remember during the invasion of Iraq, there were, and this is not Iraq. Iran is not Iraq. Iraq was, and I say this not pejoratively, Iraq is a made-up country. The Persian people, this is, we're dealing with different stuff here. But in Iraq, there was a debate, and it took place inside the Bush administration. And it was, we'll call it, and this is not exactly right, but we'll say it's Team Donald Rumsfeld and Team Condoleezza Rice. And the choices were, do what America used to do, and that we did in Panama with Manuel Noriega, that we did in the Philippines with Ferdinand Marcos, that we did in Iraq with Saddam Hussein, that we did in a bunch of places, which was to say during the Cold War, look, this is not a good person, but it is a better choice for us. And so we're going to back this oppressive regime. We're going to back these bad people because we don't want the other people who will put them in the Sandinistas and the Contras. We did it a bunch and said that this was a clear-eyed, hard choice. What we said in Iraq ultimately was that it would be a forward strategy of freedom, and that a Madisonian kind of democracy could flower in the Middle East, and that Iran would become the wellspring of that. And we were holding on to that idea in America even up until the Arab Spring, right? 7 years after the invasion, of like, oh, the Arab Spring, it's happening. It was messy. It took a long time. Many people died, but it's happening. Democracy is going to flower. A Western style democracy is going to flower, and it did not. And the argument here is that Rumsfeld was right, that you don't, and I'm shortchanging his argument here, and I knew him, and he would yell at me right now for the way I'm describing it. But basically to say, okay, Saddam's out. Here's this new guy, which is, remember what we did in Afghanistan. We said, this guy has a cape and an interesting hat. He is now going to be the leader in Afghanistan. But we're not going to do something bigger, something grander on a nation building scale. This is the revenge of Rumsfeldianism, where it's like, look, we're going to find somebody who we can deal with, and we're going to put them in power. Can you actually find someone that you can deal with? And can you actually put that person in power without having 500,000 U.S. and allied troops go on the ground and pacify and stabilize Iran? I don't think that's true. I don't think that you can bomb Iran into a new government. I think you would need substantial assets on the ground. That, back to point number one, the administration has not made the case for that and doesn't want to make the case for it because it would be hideously unpopular.
We're talking to Chris Stirewalt from NewsNation. This is a special hour-long edition of Talkline focusing on the war in Iran. President Trump campaigned on no more foreign wars. Reportedly, he was initially reluctant to have this kind of military action against Iran. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, he has reportedly wanted to do this for a long time. What changed with Trump?
I don't want to do Kremlinology too much here, but I will say this. The most successful moments in Donald Trump's presidencies, he passed a huge tax cut. He did the big, beautiful bill at the first year of this term. But the big moments for him have been killing people and breaking things, right? That's when the Republicans have felt the best, and they have been the most united. Dropping huge bombs in Afghanistan, killing the Iranian leader, taking out Maduro. It's popular. Republicans, it's popular among Republicans. It's been popular, and it's commander in chief, right? It's the one at a time when the power of the presidency is starting to get the first real pushback after the Supreme Court yanked the chair out from underneath him on tariffs. And after Congress started to do a little pushback, this is the one arena for a limited period of time that the president can do anything that he wants. And by the way, by starting a war, you invoke new presidential powers, right? The courts are even more deferential when there's a shooting war on. Congress becomes even more deferential. I was in the room in Huntington, West Virginia, when John Forbes Kerry said that he actually voted for the $87 billion before he voted against it. It becomes politically very difficult to oppose a president at a time of war, even when the war becomes unpopular. So I think for Trump, overseas military action, well, I'll shut up by saying, when they tell you, and the way that we got into the problem in Iraq was that we could have guns and butter. We could have both things. We could have a small footprint, affordable, light touch force in Iraq, but also be the good guys. We could do the Marshall Plan, but do it with a light footprint and not the massive destruction and devastation. We thought we could have it both ways. And because of how human brains work, when we're told we can have our cake and eat it too, we say, this is fantastic. Why didn't anybody tell me it could be so good? Donald Trump may get lucky here, and the United States may get lucky here, and it may work out, right? The critics of the administration should be advised that, much like with the tariffs, they may muddle through and not, like, the tariffs haven't wrecked the economy, many of the worst things, because they pulled back, they changed course, they navigated through and got very lucky. So critics of the administration should be aware that they could get lucky again and they could have egg on their faces again. But we have not begun to wrestle in a serious grown-up way with what a U.S.-Israeli war effort in a longer term looks like and what kind of commitments the United States would have to make and it's not just about a short-term spike in gas prices, it's about accepting the fact that a Middle East that is the way it is in large part because of Western interventions now has another Western intervention in it, and what happens after that.
Chris Stirewalt, politics editor of NewsNation, host of The Hill Sunday. Good to talk to you again. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, brother.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back more. When we come back, is the new boss the same as the old boss in Iran? That's next.
Some relationships just work better with trust, reliability, and great communication. That's why more West Virginians are choosing CityNet Gig Fiber. Fast, symmetrical speeds, no contracts, no data caps, and local teams monitoring the network around the clock. Plus, for a limited time, new residential customers can get 50% off any internet plan for a full year, with plans starting as low as $25 a month. Check availability at your address. Visit citynet.net today. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Since 1926, the West Virginia Hospital Association has been the collective voice of our state's hospitals. With a shared vision of strengthening communities, improving lives, and supporting our state's economic well-being, our member hospitals work every day to provide high-quality, accessible care. This year, we celebrate 100 years of a unified voice and our ongoing commitment to supporting our members in achieving a strong, healthy West Virginia.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at wvha.org.
President Trump says America can't win with a weak electric grid. In West Virginia, that means outages and missed opportunities for jobs and growth. That's why more than 6,000 West Virginians signed a petition calling for modern transmission lines that keep power reliable and strengthen President Trump's America First economy. It's time for action. Learn more at powerwvnow.org. Paid for by West Virginians for reliable and affordable energy.
Every day in West Virginia, we play for something bigger.
As a mom, I play for her education.
I play because it helps provide care for the ones who care for us.
I play to help keep our parks beautiful.
Why I play? Because every play supports West Virginia's future, our students, our seniors, and our state parks. For 40 years, proceeds from the West Virginia Lottery have totaled nearly $13.7 billion. I play. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
When my shift ends, I hang up my hard hat and head home, proud of the work we're doing here in West Virginia. Natural gas is more than energy. It's jobs, investment, and opportunity across our state. We put safety first and deliver reliable energy families and businesses count on. For families like mine, it means steady work and a stronger future. West Virginia Natural Gas, fueling communities today and building tomorrow.
This message is brought to you by the Gas and Oil Association of West Virginia.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Hardwood Heat meets the Mountain State in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Girls High School Basketball State Championships, presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 14th. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. It makes you feel defeated. I'm just gonna be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not gonna be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
On the next State of Minds.
I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
Virginia.
Welcome back to a special edition of Talkline. Hoppy Kercheval with you, spending this hour talking about Iran. Scott Anderson is a best-selling author and historian. His latest book is King of Kings, The Iranian Revolution, a story of hubris, delusion, and catastrophic miscalculation. He joins us this morning. Scott, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Good to have you here. So we have a new leader in Iran, Mujtaba Khomeini, son of the previous leader. Is the new boss the same as the old boss?
Yes, he is. I think it's very much a chip off the old block. I see that as with the Trump administration calling for unconditional surrender, this is a sign from the Iranian regime that it's of just the opposite. This is saying we're staying with a hard line, no compromise.
And is that what does that say about what the United States and Israel have done so far? Does that mean so far, when there's been talk at times about regime change, does that mean that so far the effort is unsuccessful in bringing about regime change, if in fact that's the goal?
If that's the goal, it has been unsuccessful so far, and it's likely to stay that way unless foreign troops are on the ground. I'll explain that.
Okay.
So the Americans and Israelis are destroying the military structure of Iran, but the weapons that the Iranian regime is using to repress their own people, they did it in January, killed 40,000 people, is machine guns and shotguns. And no amount of air war takes those weapons out of the hands of the Iranian regime. The Iranian regime also knows that at this point they're in a fight for their own survival. They're really between the Trump administration, the Israelis, and how unpopular they are on the streets. There's nowhere to go except to kind of fight to the death here.
So then, what is achievable for the United States and for Israel? What is measurably achievable?
I don't think regime change is achievable unless there are foreign troops on the ground. Again, going back to January, the Trump administration, Trump himself encouraged during these mass protests. Millions of people took to the streets. Mass protests encouraged the Iranian people to take over their institutions. Said help is on the way. Well, help was not on the way, and as a result, some 35,000 people were killed. The Trump administration is now calling for the same thing again and saying, this is your chance to take over the country. This is your chance for democracy. I don't think people are going to take it knowing what happened just 2 months ago.
So is there an organized opposition that exists in Iran that can be rallied?
No, there isn't. And this idea of that you're going to turn to the Iraqi Kurds, that they're going to be somehow a vanguard of a liberation force, that's really fanciful. People always turn to the Kurds as this idea that they're going to be the fifth columnists in these different countries. But the Kurds are divided between 4 countries, between Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. And it is not a monolithic ethnic group. They constantly fight back and forth between each other. So the idea that Iraqi Kurds are going to somehow be a liberation force in Iran is kind of absurd.
And Scott Anderson's with us, best-selling author and historian. His latest book is King of Kings, The Iranian Revolution, A Story of Hubris, Delusion, and Catastrophic Miscalculation, and for which he won the 2025 Kirkus Prize for Nonfiction. Did Iran pose an imminent threat to the United States?
No, it didn't. I think this is something that came up from the administration as a way to circumvent Congress, to kind of suggest that there was some sort of urgency to action. But there is absolutely no sign that that was actually the case. The administration itself, it can't seem to agree on what that emergency was. Certainly, I've seen no sign that was the case. In fact, the Iranians were negotiating with the Americans in Amman. So, I don't see what that was really about.
Do you think Trump got talked into this by Netanyahu?
Absolutely.
What do you base that on?
I think the timing of it. Again, look back at last June when the Israelis had carried out this bombing raid bombing campaign in Iran for 8 days, and then the Americans come in at the end of it. Netanyahu's been beating the drum about the potential nuclear weaponry of Iran for 20 some odd years, and I think that he got to Trump with this, and what the urgency would be. I think much of what really played maybe an equal role with Netanyahu was Venezuela. That grabbing Maduro, in which even the detractors of the regime, the administration recognized was a brilliant operation. I think Trump got the idea that, hey, it was a snap in Venezuela, it'll be a snap in Iran, and he's talked about the very same outcome in Iran as Venezuela.
Mm-hmm. Scott, but given Iran's consistent buildup of not just nuclear weapons, what they were trying to achieve there, but ballistic missiles, maybe eventually intercontinental ballistic missiles, wouldn't somebody have to do something at some point? Was there not an inevitability about something being done here?
Well, yes, I think that Iran has posed a danger regionally for decades, and their support of proxy regimes in Lebanon and Yemen and elsewhere. All the surrounding countries have always been quite afraid of Iran. Were we headed for a crisis with them? I'm not entirely sure. And certainly with the Israeli campaign of the last 2 years, where they have taken out virtually all of Iran's proxy allies, or certainly weakened them, I think Iran posed much less of a regional threat now than it has in, say, the past 20, 30 years.
Mm. Scott Anderson, best-selling author, historian. His latest book is King of Kings, The Iranian Revolution, A Story of Hubris, Delusion, and Catastrophic Miscalculation. It was an award-winning book, and he is a frequent guest across the cable channels and elsewhere to give us insight on this war. Scott, very much appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Take good care. Coming up on our continuing special edition here of Talkline. Next up is Mark Dubowitz. Mark Dubowitz is with the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. He's a leading, and this is kind of a different perspective from Scott because he's a leading critic of the Iranian nuclear agreement. And I think you'll hear from Mark that he sees more that this attack by the United States, Israel, was inevitable and perhaps even necessary. So that's coming up next. So stay with us. More to come. This is a special edition of Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia. It's 11:30. Let's get a news update. Check in with the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening statewide this hour all across the great state of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News. I'm Chris Lawrence. Legislation that would increase the minimum sentences for those convicted of murder in West Virginia is being sent to the House floor. Under the measure, the minimum time for a first-degree murder conviction would rise from 15 to 25 years. Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango has been one of the highest-profile proponents of the measure because of personal experience in his own family.
A lot of people have to go through this. If there's no chance that the person's going to get out, yet they still have to appear every 1 to 3 years for these parole hearings, and it is absolutely heartbreaking and gut-wrenching to these families to have to live it over and over again.
And he says that's been the case with his family as his brother-in-law was murdered. Salango said he's done the research that shows in some rare cases people convicted of first-degree murder have been able to get out of prison after serving only 15 years of a life sentence. A man is charged with malicious wounding after a shooting in Charleston. 33-year-old Julian Groom is lodged in the South Central Regional Jail today. Authorities say he shot a person in the leg about 6 o'clock Sunday evening in the capital city. The criminal complaint says police watched him throw the handgun used in the crime into the Kanawha River. A tragic story of murder in Montague County, and teenager Skylar Neese is being re-examined in a 3-part docuseries from Hulu.
So we've really engaged with her friends and the community around Skylar, and just to really investigate what it was like to be a teenager in Morgantown, West Virginia in 2012.
As Director Claire Titley, it's called Friends Like These. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Hi, I'm Matt Bainbridge. I'm a principal with CEC and the survey practice lead in West Virginia. My journey with CEC started as a staff consultant in 2014. From surveys to well pad design, CEC has nurtured my growth. In 2015, they empowered me to build a remote sensing group, providing the resources to get the job done. The best part is with CEC support, my career and retirement plans are secure. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
Worried about paying for college? Metro News is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to wvmetronews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
Hope Gas has created a training facility in Clarksburg called Safety City, and President and CEO Morgan O'Brien says it'll be part of the Hope Academy to train new staff and re-educate the scenarios as they present themselves.
It's a state-of-the-art training facility that will basically allow Hope Gas employees to learn every skill set needed in the natural gas industry.
And he called it a starting point for many future careers in advanced technologies. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
Welcome back. Talkline on Metro News all across the great state of West Virginia. Special hour-long edition here as we keep up with the events going on in the Middle East. And we're joined now by Mark Dubowitz. Mark Dubowitz is CEO of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies and a leading critic of the initial Iranian agreement. And he joins us this morning for his perspective. Mark, good morning. Good to talk to you. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. So you have written, Iranian missiles are being fired right now at U.S. forces, American bases, our embassies, our Gulf allies, and that Iran is actively developing intercontinental ballistic missiles that could one day reach the American homeland. That suggests this war had to come sooner or later. Is that how you see this?
Look, I do. I mean, there's been a lot of attention on Iran's nuclear weapons program, and rightly so. And the president has announced as of last year that we had done severe damage. He had said obliterated the program in cooperation with our Israeli allies who really led that effort. This time around, I think the president understood, and Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, has made it clear that if you allow the Iranians to build thousands of missiles that they can aim at U.S. forces, U.S. embassies, U.S. allies, and if you allow them to finish an intercontinental ballistic missile which can target the American homeland, then the Iranians could actually develop nuclear weapons with impunity. There'd be very little we can do to stop them. So it was critical now to actually strike before they had fully developed that massive arsenal of missiles and that they had completed the ICBM targeting America.
Mark, is it possible to conduct this, but also contain? We now have, Iran is firing missiles at, half a dozen other countries in the Middle East. There were a couple of missiles that were fired at Turkey, which is a NATO member. I mean, that raises a different issue. There were desalination plants to be taken out. So once you break this, can you contain it the way you want to contain it?
Well, I think the regime in Iran is massively miscalculated, and their attacks on our allies in the Gulf have backfired. I mean, it's for a number of years, our Gulf allies were trying to stay out of the way. We're engaging with the regime in Iran. We're trying to make nice. But now the regime has followed up by striking them. And it's really infuriated these Arab countries who are now joining the United States in not only potential military strikes. The Qataris shot down Iranian fighter jets. The Emiratis have been striking Iranian bases in these disputed islands. But also the Emiratis have frozen, tens of billions of dollars of Iranian money that flows through Dubai. So we're really getting significant support from our Arab allies. And I would say one other thing. I mean, the number of missiles and drones that have been fired are dropping dramatically. Admiral Cooper, who's the head of Central Command, said we've seen, an over 90% drop since the first day in the number of missiles and drones that the regime in Iran has been able to fire. And I think that's really a testament to U.S. and Israeli air power striking at these missile launchers, going after these drones, and starting to strike at the missile production capabilities of the regime.
Mark Dubowitz is with us, Foundation for Defense of Democracy. So let's build on that. Iran, though, has chosen a new supreme leader who's the son of the former supreme leader. So what does that tell you about Iran's, at least the current leadership, their commitment to sort of seeing this through to the bitter end?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're very committed to seeing this through. They just appointed, as you said, a new supreme leader, or what I call an extreme leader. And this is Mojtaba Khamenei, who is the son of Ali Khamenei, who was eliminated on the first day by Israel. And he is as psychopathic as his father. He's got deep ties to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. He's very corrupt, $200 million worth of properties in London and Switzerland. So we're not getting any kind of moderate stepping forward. But I think the Israelis have made clear they're going to eliminate anybody who takes over that position. And I think the president has made clear that he is not going to deal with a leadership that is going to continue to threaten America, which is why the military will continue to strip away at Iran's most dangerous capabilities while we put extreme pressure on the regime and while we create a situation where the Iranian people can come back to the streets. And as President Trump said, take back their country. This is their best opportunity in a generation.
Mark, I had a previous guest who said he did not think that regime change could be accomplished without boots on the ground. What do you think?
I think that's right, except they're not going to be American boots or Israeli boots. They're going to be Iranian boots. I mean, I think you saw in January, hundreds of thousands, probably over 1 million Iranians took to the streets. Most of them unarmed. They were mowed down. 32,000 Iranians were killed. But they've been taken to the streets repeatedly since 1999, over and over again. I think we're going to see after the military campaign that Iranians will be back on the streets. Those are the boots on the ground that the United States and Israel and our other allies have to support, because there are millions of Iranians who despise this regime. Over 85% of the population wants to see this regime gone. I think we need to provide maximum support to those people while we continue to squeeze the regime and while we look at opportunities to fracture the support base of the regime so that we can get some Iranians, as President Trump said, with the guns to turn on the men with the other guns who are extreme and dedicated to our destruction.
Mark, the base of the Iranian regime, you still have the Revolutionary Guard, which is, 90,000, 100,000, 120,000, whatever. Right now, they're the ones with all the guns, and the regime has all the weapons. So how successful have the United States and Israel been at taking out their ability to defend themselves and maintain the regime, in your opinion?
Look, we're only in day 10. I think so far they've really been successful in targeting these deadly capabilities, missiles, drones, nuclear. but they're also going after the Navy. We've sunk the entire Iranian Navy, as well as the IRGC Navy. And the Israelis in particular have been focusing their firepower on what we call the repression apparatus. And this is the Revolutionary Guards, the Ministry of Intelligence, the Basij, the Ministry of Justice, those who have been responsible for this brutal repression of Iranians. We are systematically dismantling that apparatus. And again, we need to start thinking more and more about what does a phase 2 and phase 3 look like after the military campaign is over. And that's when you think about maximum pressure on the regime, maximum support for the Iranian people, maximum fracturing of this Revolutionary Guard support base. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen in a week, but we need to wear them down the way that President Reagan wore down the Soviet Union and ultimately led to the collapse of the USSR.
Is there any, and finally, Mark, is there a there with the opposition, the majority of the Iranian people, that if this regime does fall, that, okay, there are leaders of, there are Persians who are willing to step up, and is there any sort of organization that can step in and say, okay, we'll provide new leadership? We don't expect necessarily democracy to spring, but does that exist, or can that emerge, or will it devolve into chaos if, in fact, the regime falls?
So, look, I think there are scenarios that we have to guard against. Chaos is one of them. The second is, I think what President Trump has in mind is to retain the Iranian bureaucracy, not make the mistake we made in Iraq when we went into a campaign of de-Baathification, where we basically fired hundreds of thousands of civil servants, a number of whom joined the insurgency against us. But preserve the state and preserve the bureaucracy and look for a leader who's not going to threaten the United States and our allies. The other alternative is Reza Pahlavi, is the son of the Shah. He's very popular inside Iran, people on the streets chanting his name. He's put together a day after plan, which is a very detailed, many hundreds of pages of what it would look like to take over Iran from an economic, governance, political, security, and foreign policy perspective, and done a lot of good work on that front. So yeah, we do have an opposition leader who is popular, and he doesn't want to be an autocrat. He wants to help Iran in its transition to democracy.
Short answer from you, Mark. So you see this working.
I always expect the worst, and so that I'm surprised on the upside rather than expecting the best and devastated on the downside. I live my life as a pessimist. So I am always thinking about worst case scenarios. I think that the worst scenario was to leave this regime with its deadly capabilities in power. We need to strip it of its capabilities so that if this regime survives, and if Mojtaba Khamenei and the IRGC remain the leaders of the Islamic Republic, they don't have the missiles, the ICBMs, the nuclear weapons, the drones, the Navy, and the military capabilities to threaten the United States and our allies. That is what I think President Trump has defined as the mission. He has not defined the mission as regime change. I think he's clear-eyed about what we need to do against our enemies. And the thing we have to do is against a regime that has spent 47 years killing and maiming thousands of Americans. We cannot allow that regime to retain deadly capabilities to continue that killing.
Mark Dubowitz, Foundation for Defense of Democracies. He's the CEO, and he joins us on MetroNews Talkline with excellent insights. Mark, it's a great pleasure. Thank you for coming on today. I know you're busy, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Great honor to be here.
Thank you. We'll take a break and be back. More of our special edition of Talkline right after this.
Hospitals drive West Virginia's economy. They produce jobs and create opportunities while keeping our communities healthy. Employing nearly 54,000 people, West Virginia hospitals rank among our state's largest and most dependable employers. They provide more than $1 billion in community benefits and generate nearly $17 billion in total economic impact each year. Hospitals are investing where it counts, advancing health, ensuring access to care, and powering West Virginia's economic future.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at wvha.org.
Worried about paying for college? MetroNews is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to wvmetronews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
Welcome back, class of 2011.
Most likely to be a millionaire, didn't quite make it.
Hey, reunion's not over yet.
Over here, millionaire, smile.
Make room, people.
Who is that?
Congratulations to our very own Millionaire for Life!
Never too late, man.
You could win up to $1 million every year with Millionaire for Life. Play in store or online today. West Virginia Lottery. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
It's the late nights. It's the early mornings. It's working in the sunshine and rain and snow. It's the dedication, the care, the hours of training that led to the winner's circle. It's our job, our passion, our lives. We are the horsemen.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
With Metro News Hotline. If it's trending, it's probably here.
So it's Dennis, it's Rodman degrees out there today.
Oh, that sounds really uncomfortable.
I know it does. I know it does.
Is that legal? Is that past FCC? I don't know if you're allowed to say anything's Rodman something. That's
it's Rodman degrees.
That's outside. Like saying it's awful Diddy out there. I don't know that we can do that.
Yeah. Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
Start your new year off right with a new ride from Kanawha GMC. Come explore our 2026 GMC Acadias. Spacious, smooth, and made for everyday life. It's truly a fan favorite. Drive into winter with a new 2026 GMC Sierra, now up to $12,000 off, or lease as low as $4,000.
Special hour-long look into this war with Iran continues. Jack Detsch is a defense reporter for Politico, covers the Pentagon, military services, and he joins us this morning. Jack, good morning. Thanks for joining us. How are you? Thank you.
Good to be with you, Hoppy.
Thank you, Jack. So, Venezuela, Iran, there's some bellicose talk about Cuba. Is this, if there is such a thing, is this the Trump doctrine now? I mean, what's the view of those in the Pentagon and those you talk with in Washington?
I think there's a lot of confusion, Hoppy, because a few months ago we were talking about an administration that was predisposed to non-intervention. Those were the words directly lifted from the national security strategy and the national defense strategy, a country that was husbanding its resources at home, not inclined to fight foreign wars, not inclined to turn over dictatorships and theocratic regimes. And here we have, just a couple of months into this new year of this administration, Venezuela, Iran, and of course the potential of Cuba. So I think there's a lot of confusion, especially among the restrainers that followed Trump into office, that took his pledge of no foreign wars to heart. I think people are trying to figure out what's the next plan and really trying to change potentially their ideological cards and their talking points. It's scrambled a lot of things for the administration.
What changed? What caused the scramble?
I think the change has been Donald Trump and taking a much more hard power approach. Of course, on Venezuela, we saw some people within the cabinet itself, Marco Rubio, pushing very hard. On the case of Iran, you saw it was mostly foreign allies. Of course, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, who saw this opportunity to take out the Iranian leadership and was really pushing Trump to take that. You also had people like Mike Huckabee, the ambassador to Israel, who also seemed to be very much on board, but also very much Trump kind of driving the train there. With Cuba, of course, back to the hemispheric stuff, you see Marco Rubio, some of the other folks who have called for a stronger case of a Monroe Doctrine or perhaps a Don Roe Doctrine in the case of this administration, really getting involved there potentially. Now, we don't know if that's going to be an economic chokehold, whether it's going to be some sort of regime change, but it seems very clear that President Trump is trying to follow up on some of these threats that he's putting out to these regimes.
Jack Detsch is with us, defense reporter for Politico. And Jack, my last guest was Mark Dubowitz with the Foundation for Defense of Democracy. He's laid out a pretty good argument for this fight to try to neutralize the regime and its military threat out of Iran. However, on the home front, as you just laid out, you have Republicans who are wondering about this shift in Trump. You have gasoline prices going up. You have the short attention span of Americans. How long is Trump's runway on this, do you think?
Well, I mean, not very long, right? I mean, we're looking at, of course, an election campaign that's going to kick off in the fall. Americans are seeing their gas prices rise, like you just said, Hoppy. I mean, they're seeing the economic stress and not just the economic stress from the war, but of course, an economy that doesn't seem to be doing as well as it was a few months ago. Unemployment rising just in the past month, 92,000 jobs lost by this economy. So President Trump probably looking at a very short runway if he wants to consolidate support and potentially stem losses in the House, not to mention the potential of losing the Senate. Then you enter a probability of Trump really not being able to act some of the key platforms of his agenda. And that's, of course, already after the Supreme Court threw out the tariffs. It's not likely the Supreme Court or the courts would crack down on his foreign policy, but a Democratic Congress, you'd be looking probably at shades of the late Obama administration and the Benghazi investigations. Probably those types of things would follow for the Trump administration in a Democratic House and Senate.
Jack, how much are the Russians helping Iran? Do you know?
So, of course, the Washington Post has the great report from last week. They're helping with targeting. So we've seen some very successful precision targeting by the Iranians to take out American radars in Qatar and other places. That's very important, Hoppy, because it makes the U.S. military blind on some of these strikes. And potentially, when you look at air defense radars, because the radar in Qatar is an air defense radar, that could potentially blind U.S. forces from taking action to defense against Shahed drones or Iran's missiles. And remember, they have the largest missile arsenal in the Middle East, despite some constraints on their launcher capability. So it does seem like the Russians certainly helping the Iranians with some of this precision strike capability. To what degree in terms of technology, we don't know, but certainly at least providing some coaching on the strikes to successfully target American assets.
Jack, you've reported that there actually some concern among our allies that would they be able to get the weapons they have ordered from America? Meanwhile, America is using a lot of ordnance. Here's a blunt question. Do we have enough bombs?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that a lot of officials I've talked to, Hoppy, have been concerned with. The number of bombs. Now, it seems like the administration from the early days of the campaign now has moved into more of a precision bombing campaign as opposed to a precision strike campaign. So that takes off the Tomahawk weapons that are fired from U.S. destroyers, potentially from land as well. So it takes off some of the key missile systems that the U.S. is short on, potentially allows the U.S. to lean a little bit more on precision bombs, which is a little bit of less of a burden to the arsenal, but it still creates this problem that the U.S. is in a shooting war with the Iranians, an extended shooting war. And some of the figures we've looked at, Hoppy, have been very striking. U.S. Central Command has already called for military intelligence officials to be present for at least 100 days, if not into September. That tells you that despite this limited campaign rhetoric that we sometimes hear from the administration, there are people behind the scenes thinking about how long this could really go.
Jack Detsch, defense reporter for Politico. Great insights, Jack. I know you're busy, and I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, well done. We'll be right back.
For over 30 years, High Technology Foundation has been committed to building a stronger West Virginia. Our mission, economic diversification. By fostering innovation and supporting tech initiatives, we pave the way for a brighter future. From cutting-edge research to tech-driven solutions, we're transforming the landscape. Join us in creating opportunities and driving progress. Let's build a diverse economy together. Visit WVHTF.org. High Technology Foundation, shaping West Virginia's future.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridge Sport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Start your new year off right with a new ride from Kanawha GMC. Come explore our 2026 GMC Acadias. Spacious, smooth, and made for everyday life. It's truly a fan favorite. Drive into winter with a new 2026 GMC Sierra, now up to $12,000 off, or lease as low as $499 a month. So upgrade your ride this year with us at Kanawha GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the road.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
Welcome back to Talkline on Metro News. Hoppy Kercheval with you. Special hour-long edition today on Iran. I did do an online poll, which is anecdotal, not scientific. Do you support or oppose U.S. military action in Iran? 28% strongly support. 15% somewhat support. 11% somewhat oppose. 46% strongly oppose. Anecdotal, not scientific. Thank you for listening today. Appreciate it. Hope you've picked up some information on this complicated situation. We'll talk soon. This has been Talkline on Metro News.